Hello, this is Marty Rawson. I am the host of Spirit Alliance. Tonight we have a show that is near and dear to my heart. One of the things that I have wanted to do was to approach the youth of the world and talk to them about what is going on, try to help them through the incredible, difficult times that are present for all youth in the world right now. And I want them to understand that there are many people of all generations that are here to help them. So, with that in mind, I have invited two wonderful guests that are very near and dear to my heart. Of course, they are, because they are both my granddaughters. And so I would love to introduce to you at this time Miss Bailie Hood and Miss Brynlee Brown. Welcome, ladies.
Hello. Nice to be here.
One of the things that I wanted to do was make a very short statement concerning this, because I see a lot of people that are trying to create a generational conflict, as if the things that are going on is a problem between the generations. And I absolutely do not believe that at all. Based on the years of experience that I have, I would like to offer the idea that if there are two kinds of people in this world, it is service to self and service to other. And the service to others are those that actually have a spiritual aspect to their lives. They care about the welfare of other people. They have compassion and empathy and a conscience and all of this. And they are not attached as much to the material world and material gains. The service to self are, of course, just the opposite. They are very much attracted to and dominated by their 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 love for material wealth, for material possessions, and what they can hold in their hands. Very often, they don't believe in anything if they can't hold it in their hands. You will find that these two types of people have existed in every generation that has ever existed on Earth. It's not a matter of generational conflict. What matters is, what is your soul type? What is your makeup? Okay. If you have the heart to wish for the highest good of all concerned, and that includes the planet, then you are a service to others individual. And these are the ones that are going to be drawn to a podcast like this. Those are the ones that I want to speak to. So most of all, I want the youth of this world to understand, like I said before, there are many, many, many people of all ages, including those that are up into the 60s and 70s, that are absolutely here to assist you in any way possible. And we know the frustrations that you must be having. So it is our desire to help you to stand and find out for yourself who you are, to help empower you, to help you stand in your light and your authority, so that you can help create the world that you came here to create. Because you didn't come here to fit in. and so that's why you feel the way you do. Okay. It's not acceptable. And therefore, you're not accepting it. And I would like to give you the opportunity, make some comments, ask some questions. One of the questions that we talked about was how rough it can be for young people to actually turn towards the light and actually start developing a sense of their own spirituality when the world is not a very spiritual place. And for many youth, they live in homes where there is no spirituality, or in many cases, there might be some very negative things going on. How do you navigate that? Do either one of you girls know people that are having rough times like that?
There are a lot of people I can think of that are really great people, but aren't guided by really great people.
Are they just lost?
Yeah, good intentions, they're good people, but like their family and their friends guide them in a negative way, like towards negative intentions, if that makes sense. Like they've got a good heart, but they're not being guided the right way. I think that's the biggest thing that the youth needs help with is better guidance.
I hate to start this off with a shameless plug, but since social media is the epic form of entertainment that it is, the one thing that I could suggest right there is that they start going to spiritual groups and things where they are safe to ask questions and to talk to people. Because one of the things that is going on right now, as we are increasing our vibrational frequency, more and more people are starting to notice some things that look pretty bizarre to them, like shadows of animals that are running at the peripheral vision, maybe a voice saying something to them. Okay. All of this stuff is going to continue to keep happening more and more frequently, and more people are going to do that. Now, if you are lost and going in a very negative way, it is going to be even more difficult if you think you're going crazy, because that's what most people will tell you is that, oh, you're just going crazy. And what is happening is that as we are going up through the fourth dimension, we're actually just simply noticing the things that have always been there. But our vibrational frequency is rising. And so we're noticing things that we've never seen before. So it's actually a very natural thing to have happen. But nothing that is going to be taking place in the next few years is going to feel natural. The unnatural is going to be the new normal. And so it's going to be quite interesting. I would really suggest that, like my website or my group, Spirit Alliance on Facebook, that is a very safe group to join, and beyond being human, right where we're at. This is another very great safe place to be, where you can meet so many different people that have so much expertise that I don't care who you are. If you're interested in it, there's somebody here that knows about it. So there really are fantastic resources available, but you have to start looking for them and seeking them out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that the youth needs to start using social media as a positive thing instead of a negative thing.
Amen. So, yeah, the more we can get the word out for Beyond Being Human and for Spirit Alliance, because I would love to see more youth on both of them so that we can start helping people, like I said, to stand in their own authority, to stand in their own light. Because tell me if this isn't true. For the most part, people tend to feel empty, as if they have no purpose. They don't know why they're here. They don't know what the point is. And the deck is stacked against them. It's really hard financially to get ahead and to get out there on your own. And the whole system is kind of stacked against you. So everything can become very futile and frustrating. And that just makes everybody mad. And that's when you start going to maybe recreational drugs or alcohol or whatever. And as things go on, you start feeling more and more empty. I'd like to tell you what that emptiness is, and that is your soul literally knows that you are a being of light. You're a ghost driving a meat suit. Okay. That is who you are. And that ghost is a great being of light. And it remembers what home is. And it wants you to make that connection with the divine because it knows that that is the only thing that can satisfy it. So that's why you have this empty feeling that's meant to nudge you in the right direction. And so the more you start making that your own personal relationship with the divine, the more satisfied your soul is going to be, and the more confidence you're going to have in addressing all of your problems that come into your life. I don't care what they come from. It seems like a roundabout method to get where you're going, but it's actually the most direct method because this deals with that emptiness within you. This deals with you understanding who you are and you standing in your own power and authority and you knowing that you've got great beings of light at your back to help you make your right decisions. And it's not like I'm talking about organized religion. I'm talking about true spirituality where you have the relationship with the divine yourself. Have your own experiences, and then nobody can ever take them away from
I agree with that completely. I've for a really long time, well, I guess not a really long time. I'm not very old, but um for a really long time for me, I've felt really empty, really everything that you were describing. Empty, lonely, struggling to find purpose. And since I've gotten more into spirituality and finding my higher self and connecting with spirit and the divine, I've never felt so fulfilled, so content with my life.
So, how could a person of youth find their way of knowing whether they're empty or not and to lead themselves into their own light, into their own energy instead of surrounding it from other people?
If you're feeling empty, trust me, you will know it. You won't have to ask because it is an overwhelming feeling of lack of interest, lack of purpose, just lack of everything that motivates you. That is usually not hard to identify if and when it happens to you. The answer to the second part of your question is, do they find their own light? They realize that absolutely every single one of us is a fractal hologram of the creator. You are an aspect of the creator that came here to experience all of this for yourself and so that the creator could experience it through you. Okay. As such, that's why the sages say all is one, is because when it ultimately comes down to it, there is only one thing, and that is the living life force energy that is the creator. And we are all just individualized awarenesses scurrying around playing games and learning and growing and doing whatever we want to do. When you understand and you actually make that connection with the divine, you will remember that feeling. Your soul will remember that feeling and you will know that feeling. And when that happens, something clicks inside you and you realize this is what I've been looking for. This is the only thing that's ever affected my soul like this, and nothing else can. When you do that, you realize that, oh my gosh, it's true. I am part of source. Okay. From that point on, you can start finding your own light. Okay. And all you need to do, just concentrate on your heart chakra and think about everything and everyone you love. And just keep on thinking about all of the things that you're grateful for and all of the people that and the animals that you love. And as you grow that sense of love within you, you're going to realize that it's actually an endless energy. And you can keep creating that and just keep creating it. And then before long, you will be standing in your own light. Okay. And the more you raise your vibrational frequency up, the more love and light quotient that you have within your being, the easier it is for the other beings of light to communicate with you. So the farther you go, the better it gets. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Either of you noticed or had your own paranormal experiences or noticed, like I was talking about, the shadow animals and stuff like that? Have you experienced that lately?
I haven't recently, actually. I haven't had any experiences like that for a while. But when we first moved into this house that I'm in right now, I was sitting on the couch with my dog one time, and there were just really, really heavy, loud footsteps, like running up the stairs. And they went all the way through my room. And it was the first time that I've ever had something like that happen where I didn't like start having a panic attack and freaking out. And I thought that was a really interesting, pretty cool experience because I wasn't scared.
All right. Okay. We could talk all day about different experiences and stuff that people have had, but it is amazing how when you have your own experience, nobody wants to talk about it because everybody thinks that, oh, everybody's going to think I'm weird until you actually bring it up. And then another person will go, oh, that happened to me, or I had something similar. And pretty soon, everybody's starting to reveal that it's actually very common. It's not, but we don't like to talk about it because we think it's taboo. And I guarantee you, the direction we're going, you're not going to be able to keep it silent. Okay. It's going to be a topic of conversation, and it's going to be a relatively normal conversation. So I'm hoping that people can get over some of the hangups that society pushes on us and just start to relax and go, yeah, I've had these experiences. I've had them with whatever beings there are. Because ultimately, there is nothing that exists but life. Your vibrational frequency is what determines what you perceive. It's pretty cool, and it's going to get kind of exciting here before too long. What do you do to choose happiness? Do you know anybody that is depressed? I mean, is there a lot of depression with young people? Are people trying to put themselves in a better place, or do they even know how?
Well, I have a few friends who's been going through breakups recently, like multiple of them, and they aren't coping with it right. And I don't know how I could pull them into the right path without offending them, because most of them are turning to alcohol and drugs. And
Okay. First off, I'm not going to uh, judge them for that because that is, unfortunately, a very common thing uh, that happens. Okay. The problem is that it doesn't solve anything. Okay. It really, all it does is help you escape for a very temporary time. And then it hurts your body. It doesn't do any good. But there are steps for dealing with things that I like to take. And these are the things that I would advise young people to do. Okay. Whether it's a breakup or whether it's uh, a difficult situation with family, whatever it is, first off, understand that it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. There is nothing wrong with feeling the remorse, the grief, the anger, whatever it is. Okay. You're perfectly, uh, you have these emotions because you need to be able to express them. Okay. And what I want people to do is rather than bury everything inside, which is what we've all been taught to do for generations, is quit burying your emotions inside. Go home, go into your room, go wherever you can be in private and let it out. Okay. If you need to take a broom and beat your bed mattress with the broom handle or something, I don't want people to get violent. I don't want anybody to get hurt. And I don't think anybody should be breaking people's properties or anything. But you can take a hammer to an ice block. Okay. There's actually, that's quite fulfilling because shards go everywhere. Okay. You can, you can do all sorts of things to get your emotions out. Okay. Quit burying them. Burying your emotions is what causes illness later in life. And that's why so many people, when they hit their 30s, start to have diseases and mental and emotional issues, is because they buried stuff from the time they were children. And I would like to make sure that you, young lady, don't do that. Okay. So honor your emotions, feel them, but don't unpack your bags and stay there. Express them, get them out, and then release them with gratitude. Say, okay, I'm done throwing a fit now. I got it out of my system. Now I'm going to sit back. I'm going to look at my situation and go, what is in my highest good? What do I need to do for me now? You need to take things very logical and step by step. But the first thing that you want to do is honor those emotions and express them non-violently, but get them out and then release them with gratitude. That's very much underused. Have either one of you used that?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's like the biggest thing that I've been working on recently is accepting the feelings because they're meant to be there, but like you said, not forever. For a while, I was scared of the feelings, scared of the intensity, scared of the hurt, and I've really learned to accept them and just feel them because it's so much easier when you're not fighting them, you know? It's so much easier.
Yeah,
It
I
really is.
really
I'm so glad you said that.
My boyfriend has been going through a really, really rough time with his parents and his life and everything. Just recently, he started taking my advice finally. And I've already seen a lot of progress. Like, his parents are very invalidating. They just really love to invalidate your feelings. Usually, he would immediately become triggered by that and get like rageful, like really angry. And just yesterday, he was telling me about it and he was laughing about the things that they were saying instead of being angry. And that just made me so happy because he was finally accepting the hurt feelings and letting himself feel hurt instead of being angry that the feelings were there.
All right. I'm glad to hear that. He's a good guy.
that was one thing I remembered, and I think it's extremely important to validate your own feelings because it's hard to validate others, especially when they're more unconscious and they don't think about that in that moment and like validating your own feelings.
I agree with that. I feel like a lot of people will look for validation from others instead of themselves. And, sometimes it's easy to get validation from others and it feels good, but in the long run, you really need it from yourself. You really need to be able to nurture yourself the way that maybe your parents should have.
Yeah. Unfortunately, for most of us in the world, there has been throughout history, and I'm going back, throughout history, and unfortunately, most of humanity has had wave after wave of unconscious generational herds that have simply been teaching what they were taught. And we are now coming into a shift in the energy and the consciousness where so much is changing in our thoughts and our ideals and what we want and how we want to act. When I was a child, trust me, I was raised very much different than what I did for my son or what I'm trying to help you young ladies accomplish. Okay. It's a totally different world. What we want to do is we have to change how we teach our youth. And one of the most important things with that is teach them how to deal with their emotions in a healthy way, because that is not being taught and that was never taught to us. And so if we can teach that to the youth, then they will grow up to be emotionally well balanced and they will also be more compassionate and loving towards their children. And we can change this from an unconscious wave to a conscious that will benefit everyone. I'm hoping that when you young ladies eventually have children, you can pass a lot of this stuff on to them. The kids that are coming in now, and that's the thing that I also wanted to mention here, is that your generation and the little ones coming in now, they understand that they are divine beings. They have a greater awareness of their own divinity. You are not going to get away with lying to them and being deceitful and playing the games that has been played on humanity for thousands of years, because they're coming in wired in such a way that they see through all of that. We have to deal with them differently. Okay. And the only way to do that is to deal with them honestly with love and compassion, teach them how to deal with their emotions in a very loving and helpful way. Bryn, did you have anything that
How can the youth block out the world's hate, if that makes sense? Everyone's always so much happier when you're in the love and the light, but what do you do when all you really know is the hate and the darkness?
this is very, very difficult to do? I'm glad you actually brought that up, because there are millions, if not billions, of people that are stuck in negativity that don't want to be there. Okay. But it's habit. It is absolute habit. And so what you have to do is there's a lot of different techniques that can be used. But first and foremost, I would say that you have to recognize that you are the observer. When you think about yourself, let's say that you are angry about something. It actually isn't you that's angry. The true you is the one that recognizes the anger. You're the observer. You're actually one step removed up above your emotions and everything else that's happening to you. And the more that you can recognize yourself as the observer in your life, step back and look at yourself, step back and look at the situation. The more that you can do that, more control you're going to have over your own thought. And as you do that, then you can start, every time you notice a thought, you have to be diligent and go, no, I am not going to keep doing this loop, this negative loop that I've got going. I don't like that. It's not comfortable. I don't want to be there. So what you have to do is literally monitor yourself, monitor your thoughts, and every time you think of something that you don't want, try to figure out, okay, what's the opposite of that? What is it that I do want? If you are tired of people fighting, maybe you're ready for a good dose of peace and maybe people dancing, having a good time. Okay. Think about, if somebody's hurting an animal, think about wonderful, healthy animals, how you love your animals. Whatever it is, start concentrating on the opposite of that, which is in a loving, compassionate light. And so that you train yourself to get out of the old habits and make new habits of going towards the loving, more lighter thoughts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree completely. I feel like I was going to say youth, but a lot of people are very stubborn and they know they don't want to be in that negativity, but they won't let themselves out. But I have seen a lot of people just surprisingly jumping out of the negativity and making a better life for themselves, having a better positive mind. I'm really happy that so many people are finally getting out of that stubbornness.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's amazing. Two phrases that have that I've seen work is, one, just asking them. So, all that negativity, how's that working for you? How does that feel? You know, just literally point blank asking, because until they actually think about what feels better, love, or there's love and light on the one hand, and there's pain and darkness on the other. Now, really, this is what it comes down to. And so, which one do you choose? If you want more love and light in your life, then go over there. If you want more pain and darkness, then go over there. That's literally the choice that people have, but most of the time it's not addressed in such simple, straightforward terms. It really comes down to your own preference. You have free will. So the biggest hindrance that I've noticed is, and decide for yourself that is what you want, that you want to go into more of a lighter, more loving state of mind, state of being. And once you make that choice, then comes the work. Then you have to break the old habits of the negative thoughts and start going into more positive ones. There is also another technique that I wanted to bring up, and that is the reciting of mantras. Now, I won't go real deep into that, but you can look up mantras on the internet. These are phrases usually in Hindu or Tibetan or some other foreign language. They would say over and over in order to invoke certain divine energies. Now, the cool thing about it is that if you have the fortitude to memorize one that's a little longer than you're comfortable with, okay, and that's the key, you can't sit there and think negative thoughts while you're repeating that phrase. The Gayatri mantra is one that takes a little while to memorize. And you cannot recite that to yourself over and over and over while you're thinking all of this other stuff, these endless negative loops that your mind goes in. So I have literally used that myself many, many times in order to just stop the negative loops from going, get myself in a better place. And it sounds kind of funny, but I swear it works. It works like a charm.
I believe that. I know it works. I think those are really important. I'd like to get more into that.
It might not surprise you that I've got a whole grundle of them. So I'll be glad to share them with you anytime.
Yeah, I believe that.
So, yeah, once you get into mantras and stuff like that, it actually can be quite fun. It's not the drudgery that it sounds like at first. And then there's also pranayama, which is advanced breathing techniques are very powerful in shifting consciousness. So there's a lot of different methods and techniques, and we can maybe cover that on a future episode. Now, one of the topics that we haven't covered yet is the youthful obsession with looking good and being healthy. Being healthy is a very good thing. First off, I want to discourage the materialistic obsession with how all the corporations are trying to sell everything to young females to make them think that they need this in order to look pretty. They need that in order to look right. They need that. Oh, if you're not wearing this, then you're not cool, that sort of thing. Okay. First off, I want everybody, both male and female, to understand that corporations run the world and they exist by getting people to buy their stuff. Them doing that has absolutely no bearing whatsoever on your value. Okay. Uh, there's no bearing, no association in any way, shape, or form. No matter who you are worthy to be here because you exist. Find what is comfortable for you and just be you, because that's what the universe needs right now. And that's what this world needs right now is do not conform to a commercial's concept of anything, of beauty or anything at all. I want everybody to really start standing in their own what you believe in, how you want to be. Okay? Be yourself, because that's why you were created, was to be you. And you have gifts to offer the entire world. And so by everybody just simply being their authentic self, that is the most important thing. And after that, then go out and say, okay, I like that hairstyle. I like that makeup. I like this. I like that. Okay. But pick it because you like it, not because of some fashion trend or because of some commercial or peer pressure. Okay. I really, really, really want all of the youth of today to be very independent minded and don't let the manipulators out there in the world sway you so easily, because that's their job and they're very good at it. So
Yeah, they are.
I believe at one point during our previous conversation, one of you ladies asked, what do you do about guys that are shallow, that are only looking for the perfect female? They don't want to settle for anything less than their concept of the perfect female.
I feel like everyone is just trying to find happiness, but they're not looking within themselves for that. They're looking at those products, those things being sold. They're looking at, like, they see maybe something on social media that says this will make you happy, and then they try it and it doesn't make them happy. It just gets them further and further away from themselves.
I'm so glad you said that. That is absolutely perfect. That is exactly what people have been doing for hundreds, if not thousands of years. We search for happiness outside of ourselves, and we don't even realize that the true thing that we're searching for is inside of us. And that's that divinity that I was talking about at the beginning of the show. Once you find that, shoot, everything just starts unfolding for you and just getting better and better. That's why I wanted to have this conversation, was so that we could maybe spark a few ideas for youth that might be able to listen to this, and really help them understand that there's actually still a lot of good possibilities out there in the world. There's going to be tremendous opportunities for people that have the right attitude and will go out there and do what they came here to do.
Everyone really just needs to start taking care of themselves, and not necessarily with those products that are being sold, but sometimes maybe if that's what makes you feel good. People really just need to start taking care of themselves. Like, that's something that I've struggled with for a long time, just as something as simple as taking a shower every day was hard for me. Just
Yeah.
brushing my teeth, taking care of myself was really hard. But I've just recently started really nurturing myself and my body and appreciating even just as simple as doing my laundry. I've
Yeah.
really started taking care of myself and I feel so good.
I am so glad to hear that. That's the essence of what we're talking about here. You know, you do need to learn to love yourself and take care of yourself. Your body is the only one you've got. So you do need to take care of it. As you two both know, I do Ayurveda, and I would like to recommend that people actually look up Ayurveda and see what it is. It is the oldest natural health care system on the planet. The difference between Ayurveda and anything else, especially here in the West, is that if you go down to an herb store or a massage place or anywhere else, and you have two different people with two different body types walk into these places and say, "Oh, we both have this. What do you got for it?" They're going to give both of you the same thing. Okay. For one of you, that might work. And for the other one, it might just aggravate you. And that is, I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but have you ever had that happen where you and a friend have totally different reactions to different foods or herbs or whatever it is? Okay. That's because you have different body types. That's because in Ayurveda, that's what we call it, your dosha, your vikruti, the combination of all three doshas and how your body reacts. And so what Ayurveda does is we take all of this information into account, and then we custom fit everything to you personally. It's not a one size fits all for everybody. It is custom fit to you because your body wants what your body wants, not what your friend's body wants. Okay. And so you need and you deserve to be treated like the individual that you are. And that's what Ayurveda does, is we treat you as the special individual that you are, so that your diet and your environment in your house and everything is perfectly set for you. And you'll be amazed, just like you were talking about showering and taking care of yourself, Brynlee, when you actually do that and extend that into everything from the incense or the candles that you're burning and the different scents, and everything else in your house, pretty soon you can create an environment there that is like nirvana. Okay. I mean, you can really create for yourself when you know what you're doing. You can create your own little paradise right in your own home. And that's what it should be.
I really love learning about Ayurveda and my specific dosha. I really love how personalized it is. And it's really helped me pay attention to the way I feel after I eat something, or it's just helped me pay a lot of attention to my body overall and how I'm feeling. And I've never been so conscious about it before. So I really love Ayurveda.
So For anybody out there listening, I want them to please remember that word, look it up and check it out. Maybe in the future we can do a show on that itself. Did you have a comment you wanted to make, Bailie?
I was gonna ask Bryn if she wanted to share how she learned to start to take care of her body and see it in a different perspective to want to take care of your body.
I feel like everyone just wants that perfect body, but it's not their perfect body. It's somebody else's perfect body that they're looking for. Everybody's just trying to be skinny or just somebody else. Everyone's just trying to be somebody else. I think it's really important to, like I was saying about the Ayurveda, be really conscious about your own body. Stop paying attention to everyone else's. Pay attention to yours. It's perfect the way that it is. It needs your love. It needs your attention. It's really important to understand what's healthy for you, because something that's healthy for you might not be healthy for somebody else. Or if you learn about something that was positive for somebody else, it might not be positive for you. And it's just really important to pay attention to your own body and appreciate your own body.
Very well said.
Had once said to me that really helped me to understand the importance of taking care of your body and how you can is she uses this like technique that she looks at her body as like a different being other than herself. So she wants to take care of it. She wants, because she cares, you know? And I think that's a really good thing for everyone to keep in the back of their mind so that they can start doing the same thing.
I agree with that. I feel like everyone has a really harsh idea of themselves, and it's hard to love yourself sometimes. So, yeah, thinking of my body as a different being, I'm really nurturing. I love taking care of people and helping people. And so if I think about my body as a different being than me, I guess it's a lot easier to appreciate it and to nurture it the way I would other people. And I haven't quite learned to nurture myself like that. But that helps me learn to nurture myself like that.
It does. That is beautiful. One of the things that you brought up is learning to love yourself. And I have struggled with that my entire life. Okay. And it was your grandmother that actually uh, finally sat me down and said, look, you have so much compassion for other people when they have problems, but you have none for yourself. Why is that? Loving yourself is not thinking that you're perfect. It's not thinking that you walk on water. It's not thinking that you're better than anybody else. Loving yourself is giving yourself the same compassion and understanding you would somebody else, knowing that you came here to learn. You're a perfection in progress. There is really no right and wrong. Well, we don't want to be hurting people and doing things like that, but your lessons are your lessons, and you're here to learn lessons. So you can't learn a lesson without making a mistake. But you can also be compassionate for yourself and go, well, silly me, I shouldn't have done that. I won't do that again, and just let it go and start treating yourself with the love and compassion that you do someone else. Okay. Like when you girls have come to me, I've tried to be there for you and be compassionate. And it's not always so easy when it's yourself that you're having to talk to. Yeah, I think about her wise words very often, and it has helped me a lot. I guess the advice that I would have for people trying to figure out how to love themselves is just do that. Treat yourself the way you would somebody that you love. How would you treat them if they had a problem? And just go for it that way. And pretty soon you're not doing quite so bad. It kind of helps. So, all right. Are there any other topics or questions that you have?
I was just gonna start another topic. It's not a question or anything, but I was just gonna say that I think it's really important for people to think about their feelings and think about the depth behind their feelings. Like sometimes maybe you'll get triggered by something and you just have like this crazy amount of emotion out of nowhere for something that seems so dumb, so small. You might feel crazy for that, but you really need to think about it and think like, what does this feeling remind me of? Have I felt like this before? And think about like maybe that's triggering something that you haven't gotten through yet. And it's so important to just think about the way that you're feeling and accept the way that you're feeling and understand. The more you understand, the less crazy you feel, the better you feel about yourself and the better you understand yourself.
Yep. What usually happens, at least in my experience, is you're going through your day and something will all of a sudden remind you, consciously or unconsciously, of something that happened before. Now, it doesn't have to be totally in your conscious mind, but if your subconscious or any part of your being says danger, that has happened before, and I'm not going to allow that to happen again. Okay. There's your trigger. So you automatically decide right at the outset that this experience you're having in this moment is the same as that one that hurt you a long time ago. You just make that connection and that decision. And that's why you react so strongly, is because there's part of you that is remembering the pain and the suffering that you went through before. And there's no way that you're going to tolerate that again. That right there is probably one of the most common things that people do unconsciously, is relate something that's happening now to something that happened a long time ago. And if you can recognize when you do that and try to stop yourself from doing it, it will help you become more conscious, more aware of what you're doing, more aware of how you react. This is literally some of the stepping stones to self-mastery. And you'd be amazed at how good the topics we've just discussed in this podcast alone, how effective they will be if people just work on these things for a little while and actually master them. I know still to this day, I do that. I don't know anybody who doesn't. We just have to be more aware of it. That was awesome, Brynlee. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, if there's nothing else, did you have a question, Bailie? You was going to ask something.
Well, I was curious if we were going to do another one of these, but that could have waited till the end.
If you ladies would like to, we could do that. Did you enjoy this one?
Yeah.
All right. I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and I hope that others will listen to this and actually get some of the stuff out of it that will help them to understand that, there's a lot of help out there. There's a lot of different techniques to use and different sources of information that can help them and really help change their life so much, just like night and day. With that thought in mind, I want to thank you both so much for joining us. And I want to thank all of our viewers and listeners. Thank you as well. And thank you all for joining us. I pray for you all the blessings of the Creator, and may you walk in peace, love, and light. Thank you.